بالعلم بل بالأدب تنال أعلى الرتب فعش حياة العلماء. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi, my name is Margot. Welcome to Casa Islamica. We just want to do an English segment in order to do a question and answer. The first question we want to go ahead and pursue is of Carrera. She says, a Christian never hates anyone. Jesus Christ told us to love our neighbor and even our enemies, and to pray for them. And she also had mentioned that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had taught us to kill people. In response to this, we daily do our daily prayers, our surah al-Fatiha, which is in our Quran, which we do 17 times a day. And each prayer, and every time we say it, we always say, guide us to the straight path and to the path of those whom you have bestowed your mercy, and not of those against you who have sent your wrath. And this you can find in Quran Surah Al-Fatiha 1.6 through 1.7. With this, there's another in the Quran where it says not to kill. It says if you kill somebody, it is as if you kill a whole humanity. I will give you another example where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, where his uncle was killed by a guy named Habichi. And this guy one day came to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and came and accepted Islam. And on the contrary, instead of the Prophet becoming vengeful towards on his uncle's death, he didn't do any avenge at all. On the contrary, he accepted him as a brother in Islam. This teaches us a lot about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, of how merciful he is himself. You also have to think that in the Day of Judgment, where you will stand in front of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he will be asking you, why have you had spoken bad about me? And with that in response, you have to recognize the truth, and you have to read the truth, which will be yourself. You can read the truth, which is in the Quran and in the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Also, there's another Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ where he had a neighbor that was Jewish, and this neighbor, he didn't like him. So what he would do every day, he would put trash in front of his house every single day, until one day the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ no longer saw the trash, and he worried, and he went and he asked where was his neighbor, and they told him he was sick. So then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, instead of feeling as what a person would feel, like in another way, not feeling, oh well, that's not a matter of me, on the contrary, he went to go see him. And when he saw him, he couldn't believe it. The neighbor just started crying. He said he couldn't believe that even though he did everything that he did, he would still come and visit him. And until that day, he actually he believed that he was the prophet of Islam. Alhamdulillah. And with all those narrations, if you yourself want to check and reread this and make sure that this is correct, you can read it on the Hadith and you can read it in the Quran. And if you have any more questions, hopefully we got to answer all of your questions. And if you have any more questions, please write us at www.casaislamica.com. Wassalamu alaikum.